I was driving down 10th Street under the bright daylight. The sun was strong and the heat was heavy on the road. As I got closer to Makkah al-Mukarramah Street, the corner came into view. The restaurant stood out right away with walls that looked like fish scales. The sunlight reflected on the surface, making it shine in a unique way. I slowed the car as the parking lot opened right before the street. The parking lot was on the right side, and then came the building of Ninar Restaurant. I parked the car, and the afternoon heat touched me like a slow wave. The view of the restaurant caught my attention. Its design was cool and different. The walls of the restaurant reflected the light of the sun. It was both modern and striking. I walked toward the entrance, curious to see what was waiting inside.
Hi guys, this is Yazan. Today I will take you with me to Ninar Restaurant, one of the mixed cuisine restaurants in Khobar city. I will be ordering several dishes from their menu and I will be sharing my honest review. No filters, no fluff. From starters to desserts, we'll be diving into the full experience. So join me today for lunch and let's discover if this place is really worth the hype. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's give it a try, guys.
The moment I stepped inside, the noise of the street faded away. The air felt peaceful, cool, and welcoming. Soft lights filled the space, glowing gently on every corner. The wooden tables had black granite plates that gave a rustic and stylish look. The chairs were comfortable, lined neatly around each table. The stairs led upward to the second floor, showing there was more space for customers. The whole space felt open, bright, and welcoming. It was a mix between elegance and comfort. It felt like the kind of place where families, friends, and customers could relax and enjoy a meal. The menu at Ninar Restaurant is digital, reached through a QR code. It showed a wide range of choices from Levant, Asian, and Italian kitchens. The appetizers were many, from hummus to kibbeh, grape leaves, and more. The salads were colorful, offering fattoush, Caesar, and even a mango mix. There were also fatty dishes, baked flatbreads, and Levant-style grills. The main courses included grills, biryani, and even Asian chicken. Fresh juices, mojitos, and soft drinks filled the drinks section. For desserts, there were cakes and sweets, but on that day many were not available. The layout of the menu was simple and clear, but it showed only the prices without the calories. It was easy to use on the phone, but a printed menu with more details could have been helpful for customers. This is the cream of broccoli soup. It arrived in a deep black bowl and the steam rising gently. The service was smooth and creamy, with a drizzle of olive oil and a slice of lemon on the side. The color was a fresh green. It was rich and inviting. It was not too thick and not too thin. When I dipped the spoon in, the texture looked just right. The first taste was warm, soft, and balanced with creaminess. The broccoli flavor came forward clearly. It was fresh and natural. The olive oil added a smooth layer on top, making it richer. I had it again with a squeeze of lemon, which gave it brightness. It tasted delicious both ways, with or without lemon. This soup was light, creamy, and refreshing. It was perfect for starting the meal. This is the mango salad. The plate came bright and colorful, like summer on a dish. Half a mango sat on top, cut into cubes but still holding its shape on the peel. Underneath was a mix of lettuce, green apple, pear, corn bites, and pomegranate seeds. Slices of strawberry added more color and freshness. The whole dish looked tropical. It was full of energy and life. Parmesan shavings were scattered on top. A lemon dressing was served on the side, ready to be drizzled. I used the knife to cut the mango and the fork to enjoy the salad. Every bite was fresh, fruity, and sweet with a touch of sourness. It felt like a dish made for hot days. It was light and refreshing. They call it Yalanji in Arabic language. The dish arrived on a black stone plate. It was neat and elegant. The grape leaves were rolled tight, They were filled with rice and herbs. Pomegranate molasses were drizzled over the top, adding shine to the plate. Pomegranate seeds were spread across the plate, giving small red touches. The smell was gentle, fresh, and inviting. When I tasted it, the leaves were tender and soft. The flavor was balanced. It was sour from lemon and sweet from pomegranate. It felt light, refreshing, and full of tradition. This appetizer was simple but deeply satisfying. They call it kibbeh in Arabic language. The fried kibbeh arrived golden brown, resting on a bed of fresh lettuce. The plate held 4 pieces, each shaped with that classic pointed dome. They looked crispy from outside, with a warm aroma rising the moment they reached the table. Toasted almonds were scattered across the dish, adding a nutty touch. The crust was beautifully fried, giving that satisfying crunch when I took a bite. Inside, the filling was mostly minced meat with just a touch of onion for flavor. The texture was balanced, with the crispy shell meeting the juicy core. The almonds made every mouthful more exciting, giving both crunch and warmth. Even though it was fried, it was not greasy, which made it pleasant to enjoy. I could taste the care in how the spices were measured. They were not too strong and not too weak. The bulgur gave it body, while the meat gave it depth, so the flavors worked together. And eating it with the lettuce underneath added a little touch of freshness. It felt like a dish you could enjoy as a starter, or even as a meal on its own. It carried a tradition in every mouthful, but still felt light enough to keep me ready for more dishes. For me, this kibbeh was comfort food in the best form, crispy, rich, and satisfying. This is the hummus with basil. The hummus came to the table in a deep black bowl. The color was not the usual beige. It had a basil tint that gave it life. On top, a small mint leaf sat in the center like a crown. The sides of the hummus were patterned neatly, with a dusting of paprika for contrast. It looked creamy, smooth, and silky, with a drizzle of olive oil in the middle. I broke a piece of pita bread and scooped a generous bite. The texture was soft and rich, and it was full of flavor. The basil gave it a refreshing flavor, and it was different from the classic hummus taste. It still had the nutty depth of chickpeas and tahini, but lifted with green notes. The olive oil added more richness, rounding the flavor beautifully. This hummus was refreshing, flavorful, and comforting at the same time. This is the hummus with meat. It came in a black plate, and the creamy hummus spread across the base. On top, the tender minced meat was laid in the center. It was warm and juicy. The hummus looked soft and rich, with olive oil resting on the surface. Fried almonds were sprinkled gently, adding a golden touch. The smell was strong and inviting. It was full of warmth. When I dipped bread into it, the hummus was smooth and the meat was tender. The texture was perfect. It was soft hummus with juicy, flavorful meat. The almonds added crunch, balancing the softness of the dish. It felt rich, comforting, and satisfying in every bite. This hummus with meat was both hearty and enjoyable. It was a dish full of flavor. They call it nazik lahm in Arabic language. The plate came wide and rustic, with the dish spread in a circle. A layer of smoky grilled eggplant mixed with yogurt formed the base. It was soft and creamy. On top, the minced meat was spread evenly, and it was cooked with light seasoning. The color was bright, white yogurt against dark grilled meat. The smell was rich, smoky, and comforting, filling the air before the first bite. The yogurt gave a cool taste, while the eggplant added depth and smoke. The meat added warmth and spice, blending perfectly with the base. Every spoonful was creamy, smoky, and savory, with a balance of flavors. What stood out most was how balanced it felt, comforting yet still full of flavor. It was traditional but also fresh. It was a dish that carried both richness and lightness together. They call it lahm bil ajin in Arabic language. The dish arrived hot and filling, a tray of golden baked dough rising gently at the edges. The top layer looked slightly crisp but soft underneath, holding the flavors inside. The dough carried a warm smell, like freshly baked bread with a touch of spice. It was cut into neat pieces, making it easy to see the layers within. The steam rose slowly, carrying hints of seasoned meat and butter. The baked surface was brushed lightly with oil, giving it a soft shine. Each piece looked heavy yet inviting, as if made for sharing around the table. When I picked one up, the dough stayed fluffy while holding the filling tightly. The smell of the meat became stronger as the heat escaped from inside. The minced meat was mixed with onion, seasoned with spice, and cooked until tender. The meat and dough blended together so naturally, rich but not overwhelming. Every bite carried both softness from the bread and flavor from the meat. The texture was comforting, chewy, and warm with gentle touches of spice. It felt like a family dish, the one that belongs at gatherings and celebrations. What stood out most was how balanced it tasted. It was simple but still full of depth. The meat gave it richness, and the dough kept it light and easy to eat. It was filling without being too heavy. It was a dish that satisfied the customers slowly. This was the kind of meal that stays with you long after the last bite. They call it Kibbeh Labanieh in Arabic language. The dish came steaming hot in a wide bowl, and white yogurt sauce covering everything. The sauce looked creamy and soft. It was the kind that promised comfort with every bite. Inside, golden kibbeh balls floated gently, and each one looked round and neat. The yogurt sauce carried a smooth flavor. It was light but full at the same time. The smell was warm and inviting, with hints of spice rising with the steam. Every spoonful gave both creaminess from the yogurt and depth from the spices. The kibbeh shell was soft but still held together in the sauce. Inside, the minced meat filling was seasoned lightly and blended with bulgur. Each bite mixed tangy yogurt with rich meat, and it was balanced and satisfying. The rice on the side was fluffy, topped with fried almonds. Together, the meat and yogurt created a mix that was sharp and flavorful. The rice balanced it all. It was light and fluffy against the powerful sauce of the kibbeh. The chopped green onions added freshness with every spoonful. It was a dish that filled the stomach but also lifted the spirit. Kibbeh Labanieh felt traditional, hearty, and full of comfort. I would definitely order it again. This is Tandoori Chicken Tikka. The dish came on a wooden board. It was warm and inviting. Golden fries rested on the side, bright and crispy. The chicken pieces were deep bread from the marinade, grilled until the edges turned crisp. Grilled vegetables were placed next to it, soft and smoky. The pita bread balanced the plate, soft and warm against the strong grilled flavor. Every piece of chicken had a flavor, well seasoned from the marinade. The fries added crunch, salty and light, making every bite better. The onion salad gave a freshness, cutting through the richness of the meat. The bread held everything together, easy to tear and fold around the chicken. Bite after bite, it was bold, warm, and full of flavor. The fries stayed crisp until the end, never losing their bite. The onion salad refreshed the dish, making the meal lighter. This Tandoori Chicken Tikka was more than just a dish. It was rich and satisfying. It was hearty, tasty, and built with flavors that worked together naturally. It felt like a true classic, the one that fits on any table and any mood. This is the Asian chicken. The dish came on a black plate, warm and colorful. In the center, there were chicken pieces covered in thick sauce. The sauce was glossy, rich, and full of color. On one side, there was a serving of rice, soft and fluffy, sprinkled with chopped green onions. The green onions stood out. It was fresh and bright against the soft white rice. White and black sesame seeds were spread on top, giving a clean finish. The smell was strong, sweet, and rich, with just a small touch of spice. When I tried it, the chicken was juicy and tender. The sauce was thick, bold, and sweet, with a balance of flavors. The rice balanced it all. It was light and fluffy against the powerful sauce of the chicken. The chopped green onions added the freshness with every spoonful. The sauce brought everything together, rich but not too heavy. Together, the rice and chicken worked in harmony, each one lifting the other. Bite after bite, it was bold, warm, and full of flavor. This Asian chicken was a surprise. It was full of taste and comfort in one plate. This is the Snickers cake. The skillet came hot, and the sound still sizzling from the pan. On top sat a thick slice of Snickers cake. It was rich and heavy. Dark chocolate sauce was poured slowly, running over the cake. A scoop of chocolate ice cream rested above, beginning to melt. The sauce ran down the sides. It was thick and glossy. The smell of caramel and chocolate filled the air right away. The heat from the pan made the edges melt into a sticky layer. When I cut through it, the cake was soft, almost gooey inside. The chocolate flavor came first. It was bold and comforting. Then came the peanut taste. It was salty and sweet at the same time. The walnuts inside gave a crunch, balancing the soft cake. Caramel added another layer. It was thick and buttery. Each bite was rich, warm, and full of taste. The Snickers cake was a pure delight. It was bold and unforgettable. This is the pina colada cake. In the center sat a neat square of cake, bright and inviting. The top of it was soft and light, covered with coconut flakes. On the side were slices of mango and strawberry, shining with color. Tiny roses and chocolate swirls decorated the plate, simple but elegant. At the first cut, the fork slid in easily. The cake was soft and airy. Inside, there was a golden layer of pineapple. It was juicy and sweet. The cream held it together, smooth and light against the cake. The taste was tropical, sweet pineapple mixing with soft coconut. Every bite felt fresh, a mix of fruit and cream with gentle sweetness. The mango on the side added more richness, soft and sweet. It was a cake that felt bright. It was sweet but never heavy. Together, the fruit, the cream, and the cake worked in harmony. This pina colada cake was refreshing, colorful, and full of flavor. This is the passion fruit mojito. The glass came tall and clear, filled with ice and color. Inside, the yellow passion fruit juice shined brightly at the base. Slices of lime rested along the glass, fresh and simple. Green mint leaves sat on top, bright against the yellow drink. The ice cubes kept it chilled, fresh, and ready. The first sip was sweet from the passion fruit, bright and smooth. The mint gave a clean lift, light and cooling on the tongue. The lime added a sharp edge, balancing the sweetness. It felt like summer in a glass, fresh and calm. This mojito was sweet, colorful, and refreshing on a hot day. This is the berry mojito. The drink came in a tall, clear glass, cold and bright. The blue color of it stood out right away. It was cool and refreshing. The glass was chilled with drops of water outside, showing how cold it was. A slice of lime rested on the rim, simple but inviting. The first sip was smooth and sweet, with a gentle taste of berry. The lime added sharpness, balancing the sweetness perfectly. The mint gave freshness, light and cooling with each sip. It was bright, fruity, and refreshing from start to finish. This mojito felt cheerful and cooling, perfect for a warm afternoon. The Turkish coffee came in a small clay cup. It was simple but full of tradition. Beside it sat the metal pot, still warm with a freshly boiling coffee. The cup looked rustic, with a dark glaze inside and a rough edge outside. As the coffee was served, it ran slow and steady, rich in color. The smell rose quickly. It was deep with roasted beans and cardamom. The first sip was bold. It was hot and strong with a sharp edge. The taste stayed heavy, bitter but balanced by the spice. Each sip felt grounding, like a drink made for quiet moments. The finish was smooth, leaving a trace of warmth in the mouth. It was not just coffee, it was a piece of culture served in a cup. price of the cream of broccoli soup is 19.99 Saudi Riyal. The price of the mango salad is 21.99 Saudi Riyal. The price of the Yalanji grape leaves is 20.99 Saudi Riyal. The price of the fried kibbeh is 18.99 Saudi Riyal. The price of the hummus with basil is 17.99 Saudi Riyal. The price of the hummus with meat is 26.99 Saudi Riyal. The price of nazik bil lahm is 49.99 Saudi Riyal. The price of lahm bil ajeen is 18.99 Saudi Riyal. The price of Kibbeh Labanieh is 34.99 Saudi Riyal. The price of the Tandoori Chicken Tikka is 33.99 Saudi Riyal. The price of the Asian chicken is 35.99 Saudi Riyal. The price of the passion fruit mojito is 22 Saudi Riyal. The price of the berry mojito is 22 Saudi Riyal. The price of the Snickers cake is 20 Saudi Riyal. The price of the pina colada cake is 17 Saudi Riyal. The price of the Turkish coffee is 15 Saudi Riyal. The total plus the value added tax, which is 15%, is 379.89 Saudi Riyal. When I think about the food at Ninar Restaurant, I remember the range, freshness, and balance across the menu. Some dishes stood out right away, like the Yalanji grape leaves, which were soft, tender, and full of flavor. The hummus with basil felt unique, creamy, and smooth. It was lifted with a refreshing herbal taste. The chicken tandoori was juicy and grilled perfectly, with bold spices that worked beautifully. The Asian chicken was another highlight. It was tender and flavorful with a sauce that matched the rice perfectly. The mango salad was bright and colorful, with fresh fruits that made it feel light and tropical. The Kibbeh Labanieh brought comfort, with creamy yogurt sauce and rice on the side that made it a full meal. The fried kibbeh carried tradition in every bite, crispy on the outside and juicy inside. The meat with dough felt warm and hearty, like something made for sharing at the table. What I enjoyed most was how each dish carried its own identity. Altogether, they showed a wide range and balance of choices. From fresh salads to hearty main dishes, every plate gave something different to enjoy. That's why my score for the food is 4.4 out of 5. For the service, it was clear the staff were polite and caring from the start. They seated me quickly, the orders came on time, and I noticed customers around me were also served with ease. When the kitchen was out of dessert, the waiter still made it possible for us to try something, and that extra effort really stood out. The staff were not only quick, they were also thoughtful, and that makes the service very strong. That's why my score for the service is 4.5 out of 5. For the atmosphere, the restaurant had a unique look from outside with the fish scale design. Inside, the granite plates and black stone serving dishes gave a rustic but stylish touch. The dining room felt bright and comfortable, and it filled quickly with energy during lunch. But the restrooms were upstairs, and without clear access for wheelchairs, this could be difficult for some customers. So while the space was welcoming, it was not fully practical for everyone. That's why my score for the atmosphere is 4.2 out of 5. The restaurant does have its own parking lot, which makes arriving easy. At the entrance, there is also a ramp for wheelchair users, which is a very thoughtful addition. In the end, Ninar Restaurant gave me a good experience with both highlights and small details to improve.
So this was my experience today at Ninar Restaurant. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. And just remember, each bite tells a story. See you in the next one. Bye.